us to do is this little exercise here. You're going to draw an imaginary egg, okay? Now last week we drew an imaginary sphere, but we did it with charcoal. This week we're going to draw an egg. I know you all know what eggs look like. They're sort of fuller at one end than they are at the other. You're going to have an imaginary light source coming from either the right or the left, I don't mind which, but it must be consistent with the shading that you do around and across the actual egg form. And I'd like you to also include a cast shadow as has been done here in this illustration. Okay, let's see if we can all draw a beautiful imaginary egg with the light source either coming from the right or the left. If it comes from the right, then the top of the egg obviously will be white. And I think what's quite clever here, and I don't know whether, I can't remember really if it's intentional, but the background actually creates a darker tone, and there's no outline here on the top of the egg. It's actually done by using the background as a deeper shade of grey. So, like we did last week, I will do it with you. I'm just going to put my egg shape. Where can I put it so you can see it? Okay, I'll put it here, and then you can see my paper here. Okay. Can you all see that? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pick up an ordinary B pencil. I'm going to suggest that the light source is coming from the right as it is in this picture. So I've done an arrow to remind myself there. And I'm going to now draw an egg shape here. I'm going to just draw it very lightly. Again, it doesn't need to be too big, but it needs to be big enough that you can work on it. Okay, now I have put in some line here just to help myself, and I'm going to take that line at the top away because there wouldn't be any line there. So the only place really you need a bit of line is down the bottom here and along this end on the left.
Can we just kind of copy that one?
You can copy it if you can see it, do copy it, yes. And then I'm going to start to, like I showed you just now, I'm going to start to actually use my pencil on its side and I'm going to go round in circles to create tone on my egg. And I'm doing it quite quickly, keeping my finger so it controls that the shading doesn't go over the edge of the egg at this point. And as it creeps up towards the light side of the egg, the shading should get paler. And I'm going to switch over to my softer pencil. And I just remember there's a little bit of cast light at the base of this egg here. So your very darkest bit actually is on the end here, where I'm going now. But if you just keep it away from the edge of the bottom of the egg, because there's a little bit of cast light, reflected light at the bottom of this egg, which is what happens. So that in order to make the shape look as though it's going round, you don't take the very dark right to the very edge. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah? I'll increase my dark so you can see it a bit better. go around in circles with your pencil on its side. It makes a nice even quality of shading across the form. Now I'm going to start to put in a bit of tone in the background behind the egg so that you can see the actual, the lightest part of my egg. And this is where you have to be careful you don't go over the edge of your, actually onto the egg itself, but you're just drawing in the background now, or I'm colouring in the background. And immediately you'll be able to see the light edge of my egg. So this is where I'm using the negative space that's around the egg to allow you to see its form, which is another thing you can do in drawing. It's, you know, people often forget that the negative space is also important. It's not just the object itself. I'm going to have to increase the tone on the egg now, so it's really quite dark in its darkest place here on the left, and then I'm adding in a bit more background, and this you've got to keep nice and even, otherwise it'll be distracting. Right, and then down below we're going to do this cast shadow. So the cast shadow is going to be the same sort of shape as the egg. It's going to be rounded. Comes out like this. And it will be darkest right up close to the egg, and then it'll slightly get lighter as it goes out towards the outside. So just be aware of that as well. I'm just going to do a bit more of the background. Sorry, you can't see. You don't get confused with what's background and what's egg. You put a little tiny mark there, but don't make it too heavy. And then at the top here as well, you can actually put a little bit of line where it gets really dark on the top left-hand corner of the egg. And that's about all the line you need. You don't need any more than that. So what we're doing is really describing the way you use light across a shape, and especially a white shape. This could very easily be a big white ostrich egg, you know. I don't know what egg it is, but it could be. And, you know, the way of actually making it look sort of convincing is by using tone in this way. And bring in the background. So it's, you know, you're actually using the background to create the shape. And go darker on this where it goes behind the white edge of the egg if you want to at the background, in the background.